Hello students, welcome to our today lecture. In our today lecture we are going to apply the ARDL model, which is auto-regressive distributed lag model. Auto-regressive means that when you are including the lag value of your dependent variable in your model as an independent variable, and there are also the lag value of independent variable in the model. So you can apply ARDL when your some variables are stationary at level and some variables are stationary at first difference. So this is the first condition for applying the ARDL model. If your some variable are stationary at level and if some variable are stationary at first difference, then you can apply ARDL model on your data set. So you also have to check the problems of multicollinearity, autocorrelation and hetero. If there is no problem of hetero, multi and auto, then you can apply ARDL model. So let's start by applying ARDL model. What we have to do, we have to take this data into Excel file. So I have copied the data. I have data from 1960 to 2021 and I have three variables: GDP, export and import. So what I am going to do, I am going to file, new work file. Here we have to select that whether our data is quarterly, monthly, yearly or biannually. As my data is annually, so I am going to select this option, annually, and then I have to enter the start and end date of my data. So after doing this, I am going to quick, then I am going to click on empty group, and here I can paste the data which I have copied from the Excel file. There are different methods for bringing data into eViews. As you can see in our earlier lecture, we have also discussed that how to bring data into the eViews file. So after this, we have to select the dependent variable first. Let's suppose I am assuming that GDP is my dependent variable and export and import are my independent variable. So after selecting these variables, I am going to open as equation. After clicking right, when you right click on this option, dialog box will open to you and you have to click on open as equation. So after this, here you can see there are multiple options. So from these you have to select the auto-regressive distributed lag model. Here as you can see that I have selected GDP at first, so it means that GDP is my dependent variable, export and import are my independent variable. Here it is asking me that how many lags you want to select from the dependent variable. By default there are 4 lags for dependent variable and there are 4 lag of the independent variable or the regressors. You can select by your own choice depending on the sample size of the data. Okay, so I am going to take 3 lag of the dependent variable and 3 lag of the independent variable. But keep in mind that I am applying ARDL because I am assuming that my all my some variable are stationary at first difference and some variable are stationary at level. So after this I have to click OK. So here you can see that a window box appear to you. This tells you that short run results of the model. As you can see, this -1 is showing 1 lag, -1 lag of export, 2 lag of import and 3 lag of import. So but these are not our desired results, as ARDL shows the long run relationship between the variables. So we have to see whether there exists a long run relationship between these variables or not. We have to go view, then we have to go to coefficient diagnostic test, and then we have to check long run form and bound test in order to verify whether there exists a long run relationship between these variables or not. Okay, so when I have click on it, these results are appear on a window. So here this box is showing the results for F bound test. So what is the criteria for checking of the existence of long run relationship between the variables? As you can see that here is the F stat value, and you have lower bound and upper bound. I naught or IO is showing lower bound and I1 is showing upper bound values at 10%, 5%, 2.5% or 1%. So what is the guideline? If your F stat value is greater than the upper bound and lower bound of 5%, it means that there exists a long run relationship between the variables. As you can see that my F stat value is greater than the lower and upper bound of the 5% significance, so it means that there is a long run relationship between these variables. So let's discuss about these results. Basically these results are showing the long run relationship between the variables. As you can see that LEX is export and its coefficient sign is negative, so it means there is a negative relationship between GDP and export. According to this model, we are not interested here that what theory says, we are just describing the signs of these variables. And import sign is also negative, so it means there is a negative relationship between GDP and import. When import increases, GDP decreases and vice versa. As you can see that all the probability values are greater than 5%, which means they are also insignificant. So for the existence of the significance of the variable, it is compulsory that your probability value is less than 0.05, or sometimes we consider the t statistic value. If you are checking the significance of the variable through t statistic, then t statistic value must be greater than 2. Or if you are checking the significance from probability value, then your probability value must be less than 0.05. So but in this case, as our probability value is greater than 0.05, so it means there is no long run relationship between these export and import on GDP. So there is one thing more that you have to check while applying ARDL model, and that is error correction form or error correction term, ECM. Okay, so we have to go to view, then we have to go on coefficient diagnostic, and here you can see that there is a error correction form. So this will give you the result for error correction form. you have to look at this co-integration equation -1. This is showing the ECM result. So this co-integration equation coefficient sign must be negative and it must be significant. As you can see that in these result, co-integration equation coefficient is negative and its probability value is also significant, which is less than 0.05. Basically ECM tells that the speed of adjustment, that how much speed you are going to your equilibrium level. So this is all for the ARDL model. If you have any question, you can ask me.